Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor. Now it's time for your weekend tech tip, brought to you by Chevy Silverado.
Now, if you chase kokanee and you're anything like I am, you've got so much gear that you'd look at it and go, holy moly. How do I neck this down? How do I neck this down is something that I should just start with, right? Well, this time of year is different than, say, what would be in July, August, right? Everything's different. Right. Water conditions are different. Fish are going to be acting different. They're going to be feeding on different things, traveling in different areas, right? Different depths of the water column. Right now, they might be closer to the surface than they will be in August. Actually, they will be. But what you brought in here, and I love it that you mentioned it earlier, is buggy, and you're taking a look at some of these options that he has. These are relatively new, is that correct?
Correct, yeah. We offered them at the 2 sportsman shows we're at, but they are on the website as of right now.
Okay.
So, and that's called the Wiki Up Mosquito. If you open up a fish at Wiki Up, they'll be eating larvae that are coming out of the mud. A lot of mayflies, and as the mayflies come up, they'll even shark fin it on the top, trying to eat them. That's pretty crazy. But so I tried making something that mimics more of a bug, which is what they eat earlier in the season. We don't see a lot of zooplankton right now, so a lot of Daphne out, so they're eating more buggy stuff. So trying things that look a little bit darker, which this is black, can be a winner. Sometimes green or chartreuse can work pretty good too this time of year. And then when we get a little bit later in the season, it's more of a pink orange show.
And that's kind of because of the zooplankton that they'll target, or shrimp, depending on whatever lake they're in.
Yep.
So with this particular one, you've got, again, black with the gold blade, kind of buggy, right? But you're still tipping these with corn.
Correct.
Are you like a color combo that you like to have when you're doing that, or
just plain white corn?
Just right out of the can.
Well, no.
Well, cured up.
I'm curing it with Pro-Cure for sure.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. And so they're Kokanee Killer Corn Magic, the Garlic Slamola, and they're the water solubles is what I prefer.
Okay.
So shrimp works really good. I do like shrimp, especially if they're in a lake that has some type of a mysis shrimp or a shrimp form in it. Wallowa does have shrimp in it, so that's one of my favorites up there too. So, and then also on my Facebook page, if you get a screenshot of me and Owen, we are doing a giveaway of these 2 Dodgers and the 4 Wiki Up Mosquitoes.
Oh, look at that.
Yep.
So they got to have a
screenshot of the show today.
Hey, come on, give it back up on air. Here's your screenshot. Here's your screenshot that you got to send over to your Facebook page. Is that
correct? Just comment in it with a screenshot. Yep, there you go. There's your chance.
There it is.
Yep.
And then to have a chance to win, you'll pick that
Monday.
That's
Monday.
awesome, man. Thank you
no
for doing that. We love that. You used to do lots and lots and lots of giveaways around here. Okay, so I got to go back. I got to back up just a little bit.
Sure.
You mentioned white shoe peg corn.
Correct.
Right out of the can. You doctor it up with your scents that you want to have, depending on where your location is and what's relevant to the body of water that you're on. Are you dyeing any of that bait, or do you always leave your corn white?
When kokanee fishing, I prefer my corn white. Yep.
Okay, you just literally barbecue. I mean, people go, you know better than me, but people go nuts over different colors. Correct. If it's pink or chartreuse or blue, reds, I mean, all kinds of different colors.
Yeah, I'd prefer white.
You just
white. Yeah. You kind of putting yourself.
You heard it here.
You're kind of putting yourself in a niche if you dye your corn. If you dye your corn a color. Your location's your number 1 that you need to figure out, then your lure color, and then the action of that lure. Those are my 3 tops for figuring out the kokanee bite. If you're dyeing your corn pink and they want orange for the day, you're really hurting yourself in the color aspect, which is what my number 2 variable for kokanee fishing is.
And number 1 was?
Location.
Location.
Yeah.
Okay.
So finding fish is the most important object you can find. If you're fishing a lake that has horrible kokanee fishing in it, you are going to have a horrible day no matter if you have the best lure, the best boat, the best electronics. So location is super, super important.
Okay, makes perfect sense. You can't catch them if they're not there. It's like duck hunting with no birds flying, right? I mean, it just is what it is. Okay, so when folks do go over to your Facebook page, that's where they can find all your different colors and different versions.
So I have a website, kokaneekidfishing.com, and that's where all the stuff's at. But the Facebook page, we're just doing a promotion.
Very cool.
For that. And so make sure you like Outdoor GPS and Kokanee Kid Fishing.
Dude, that's badass.
You hear about this.
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Our viewers appreciate that. All right, when we come back from this break, I want to dive in a little bit more. We talked briefly about some baits, and it can get overwhelming. There's no question. If you go over to Fisherman's Marine, you go over to any source, really, and you look at a wall of just kokanee baits, it's like, holy moly. But I want to talk about scent, okay? he kind of touched on it a little bit. Color isn't so important to him. He just wants it white. Is that kind of like a neutral kind of thing?
It's neutral, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about scent, because that's one thing that you can do to differentiate yourself from others.
Sure.
Okay, we'll be back with Jeremy Johns in just a couple minutes.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Yakima Bait, steeped in tradition, innovation, and fishing success. Procure bait sense, ruthlessly effective. And by North American Metals Incorporated, first choice for all your metal roofing and siding